Hey everyone, I am TheChosenOneLegend here, as always joined by my co-host.
Hi, I'm Kai, also known as Fascurreyn.
And welcome back to the BunchaJokahs podcast, where we talk all things Nintendo from the past month. And there was some stuff to talk about this month, I think, Kai.
Yeah, we've got loads.
Just a few things. It may have been the gaming month of the year, being E3, and there is definitely been some stuff here to talk about. Just overall, how did you find E3 this year, Kai?
Well, if we're talking overall, not great on average, I'll be honest. A lot of the companies didn't really do much of anything. However, there were a couple.
Yeah.
There were a couple like directs and similar things where I thought, hey, that's kind of neat. I guess it brought it up a little bit.
Yeah, it's just not everything was great. I mean, as we'll get to, Nintendo's was probably the strongest, even outside of our personal bias. Yeah,
Yeah.
Absolutely. But it was still just nice to have E3 back after it missed a year. Even if it was all digital, but that doesn't really make much odds to us personally because
Yeah.
we're watching it digital anyway. You know, maybe one day we'll get to E3, Kai. BunchaJokahs to E3 2022.
Let's do it.
Let's make it happen. But let's just get straight on with the podcast and start talking about everything that was shown off. I should quickly mention that we did react to the Nintendo's Direct, and that reaction highlights is on our channel. So if you want to see our live impressions, go check that out here. But we're going to go into some more detail in this video. And of course, there will be timestamps in the description below. So if you want to hop about between different sections, you can do so that way. But let's get things started with our first segment of the podcast. Can't have a podcast without news, baby. Where we talk about all the news that happened in the past month. And before we start... Oh, jeez, there's a fly. It landed on the mic. I'm not kidding you. Jesus Christ.
Amazing.
Just 1 second. Bloody hell. I'll cut this out. If I could just get... Yo, shit, there's two more. How? They were gone.
This is getting out of control now. There's 3 of them.
Literally.
Two more, and they
Where'd
can
they
start
go?
a boy band.
Where did they bloody go? Jesus Christ.
One fly erection.
Am I going to assume that they flew out the window? Oh, he's sitting on... He's standing on... Voice crack. He's actually standing on the thing. You know what, Kai?
Yep.
Is it gone? Is that it? Oh god. I'm glad that I'm the one editing this so I can cut this out. But
Yeah.
what was I saying, Kai?
Something about E3.
Yeah, let's just we're going to talk about E3, but before we get to Nintendo's, was there anything from the other companies that stood out to you that you want to mention?
I suppose I would like to mention like the Bethesda, the Bethesda like crossover directs that they did, but they didn't announce Elder Scrolls 6, and I've gotten wind that apparently it's still in its design phase, so we're not going to talk about that. However,
No.
I thought that Capcom's was fairly standout compared to everything else that happened, aka the other companies announcing nothing. So yeah, Capcom was alright. In particular, just like games like the what's it called? The Ace Attorney game, the localization one. Like they'd already announced it as well as a couple of other things. But it was just nice that they showcased a bit more of these things. Again, it wasn't like superb, but I thought it was a pretty good direct from Capcom.
Yeah, Capcom's was entertaining. It was nice to get a look at the games. The only thing was, like you said, they had absolutely nothing new. It was all stuff we'd seen before, and even seen a lot of before. Like this was about our 20th Monster Hunter Stories 2 trailer, but it still looked good. And it was they told us ahead of time. They were like, "This is what's in the presentation. There's nothing new." So credit to them to setting the bar at least in advance. And I agree. I think Microsoft's was which tied with Bethesda. There wasn't much from me personally, but that was a pretty strong presentation. Like Halo looked good, Forza looked good. So yeah, it wasn't just Nintendo carrying it. But then there was ones like Square, which God, that was awful. But
Oh yeah. Oh,
that was Guardians of the Galaxy looks good. I'm a fan of the franchise, and the gameplay looks solid. But did we need 20 minutes of it? No, we didn't.
And then they just go, "Oh yeah, Final Fantasy VII Remakes 1 through 6. Okay, let's move on." They just,
on mobile and Steam.
It's like, oh, where's the feel like the distribution was all over the place for it. Yeah.
It was the one at the end, the like Final Fantasy spin-off game that looked like a total edgelord fest. They might have well just had Shadow the Hedgehog in there with a gun. It wasn't great, but maybe give benefit of the doubt. Coming out of a pandemic, hopefully other companies will have some stronger stuff in the next year.
Although I will say, like, I will say with you mentioned Monster Hunter Stories because I forgot about that. Honestly, like I've been looking at some like bits from that game that they've released on Twitter. I think the game looks like amazing in terms of how its appearance and like the different areas and that sort of thing. I think it looks great. I'm just not really behind the whole like monster side of it. But I just want to say that I really like the design of that game. It looks great.
No, I completely agree. Yeah, there's definitely some really good games that were shown off still. Any game news is still good news. Yeah. And speaking of that, Nintendo came out all guns blazing when they really didn't need to do much to be the top of this year's Z3.
The bar was so low.
But they went for it anyway, and it was great. And I'm going to just break it down bit by bit through some of the highlights. If there's anything I missed, Kai, do say so at the end. But they start things off straight with the next Smash character, Kazuya from Tekken, is added to Smash, and he's out now. So what do you think of that pick, Kai?
In terms of representation, I think that it's a very suitable pick. You know, Tekken is a huge fighting series. And I feel like it absolutely deserves to have a rep in Smash. So even 100%. Though it might not be as hype as some of the other characters, say Sephiroth, Steve, or whatever, I do think that it's deserved. It's deserved to be in Smash.
Yeah, absolutely. And they bring a really unique thing, because of course you always get the people like, oh, it's a fighting character, we've already got Ryu and Terry and they all play the same, but having had a chance to actually play him out, he's a very unique moveset. The way that he combos together, not through necessarily the sort of same commands that Terry uses or even the Street Fighter characters, but like diagonal inputs as well. And certain combos, holding down A to do a 10-hit combo, that feels badass. So it really is fun.
I'm interested to see how he plays. I've not tried him at the point of this. And it's interesting on the showcase because I've heard a lot about how, because he's got so many features, that a lot of other characters have, that he's going to be like broken or whatever. But at the same time, I feel like he's almost part of the difficulty is that he has too many moves. Is that a lot of these inputs, like people aren't going to remember them, and with a lot of these, like, oh, look how strong all these features are, but it's like. I feel like he's simultaneously going to be one of the best and one of the worst characters in the game. I think best in terms of like the highest level of play, or if you're using like a task spot or whatever, then I think Kazuya is going to be one of the best pet characters. But if you're talking like casual play like us, I think he's going to be one of the worst. Like straight up, I don't think he'll be even mid-tier for casual players.
He's definitely hard. He's one of those characters, from my experience. You either dominate or you get dominated. There's no middle ground.
Right.
You can either get into a combo and get a rhythm of it, and you can tear down their health bar. But if they manage to just get the upper hand slightly, it's so hard to reclaim it. And I think even at high level play, he's not going to be massively OP, even for for people who are able to master his combat, because there are so many ways you can take advantage of his speed, which is very slow. And his lack of range, which is very damning. So it'll be interesting to see how things progress and how high level people go with him. But I definitely agree. He's one that you look at him, you're like, oh, well, there's moves, he's OP. But putting them into practice is a lot easier than just saying, look at all these moves he has. So I think he's relatively well balanced, but we'll see how the patch notes come about that one. That's the thing. If he is powerful, they're constantly updating the game still, so they can always change that.
The thing that strikes me as interesting
yep.
with him is that in the showcase, which again was great, I love seeing Sakurai enjoy himself there. He did mention that they had to up his speed, I think it was his speed and power, because he was already one of the worst characters, like he was losing all the matches.
Yeah.
So, it kind of shows. If he was overpowered, even with all these extra features, then, they'd nerf him. So we'll see how things go, absolutely.
Definitely been a fun one to try out, though. I love he's diagonal standard attack upwards. I don't even know how to explain it. But he does this thing where he runs into a few kicks, and that's my favourite move to pull off. It's the only combo move I can pull off, not gonna lie. But it's it's fun, so he's definitely good when you get to try him out. But he was also, with him, I should say, were some Mii fighters we found out. So Dante, Shantae, I love the rhymes there, and the Dragonborn from Skyrim. Which, cool costumes. I know some people are sad about the deconfirms, but that's a nice selection.
About the fourth one. I forgot what their name was, but...
Oh, I
Lloyd
did.
Or something?
Lloyd. I forgot him because he was one that he came back from 4. Right. And the funny thing was, actually, I do want to point this out. In our predictions we made like 2 months ago, my prediction was a Bandai Namco rep, and I predicted the Tails character.
Oh,
I was wrong about that, but it was a Bandai Namco rep, so I get half points. So
you get me points. There you go.
Exactly. It's better than nothing. So
I suppose
but
so.
We'll see. Maybe my second prediction was Master Chief, so maybe we're gonna actually get like some other Microsoft character, and I'm just getting the half marks, but
maybe.
Good, cool Mii costumes. And Shantae comes with a son, which I always respect when that happens.
Yeah, that's nice. I really like how I like the Dragonborn. I've got to say, like I've always really enjoyed Skyrim, and the opening. I think we've all seen it, but the opening with the bus. Oh, it was perfect. I loved it. And then the
I'm guessing you've seen
the arrow.
Yeah. Arrow in the knee, yeah.
Yeah, I'm really happy about that one. I should say, up to this point, I've never bought one of the Mii costumes because I generally don't use Miis. I will probably buy the Dragonborn Mii costume just because I think it looks really cool. So that'll be fun. I guess I'm going to start maining Mii Swordfighter now.
Yeah, I'll admit I'm tempted by that one. I did pick up Shantae. I always get the ones that come with the song, so I got Sans and I got the Cuphead one. And I also got the Final Fantasy VII Miis because the game's cool. But it's cool. It's cool that they're adding them. And I know you always get some who are like angry that it deconfirms. Mate, next month, or not next month, next fighter, everyone's getting deconfirmed. Everyone except that one fighter is getting deconfirmed. So rip the band-aid off now. Get it out the way because...
I mean, the thing with Smash fans is that they're going to cry no matter what. So when I saw that it was like Dante and Shantae, like the ones who people were like, screaming about constantly, my initial thought instinctually was just cry about it, go on. I was just thinking like, I don't know, I got a strange sense of sort of catharsis with that, just because I thought, great, hopefully more people will just shut up about it now.
That is one thing. I mean, we've basically had a near constant hype cycle of Smash announcements since the Wii U, with like a small break between the Wii U and Smash Ultimate. So, whilst I will definitely miss the hype around the fighters, I'm not going to miss the salt. It will be kind of nice to have a break from all that, to be honest. So
yeah.
But that's probably enough Smash for one video. So they announced other things, and the next big one was Mario Party Superstars. Which, actual proper Mario Party. No car, no other weird gimmick. Classic Mario Party. I want it.
Yeah, it looks to be good. It's interesting how they've taken... I believe it was that they've taken 5 boards from the first 3 games combined, because they were all the N64 games. Or something like that.
Correct, yeah.
And yeah, I think this is great. I always like my Mario parties. I wish they would have maybe done like, new boards that were of the similar nature to the old ones, but I'm guessing they just didn't have the capability to, use their brain cells like that, so they went and did a remake instead, which I'm also okay with, because I've not played the first 3 Mario Parties.
Same, yeah. It's basically the Top 100 was a game on the 3DS, which was just mini games. But this is that done right to include the boards which people want, and I'm excited to try it out. I mean, there's so much games coming out, so who knows if I'll 100% get it at launch. But it's definitely one I've got my eye on, and we can play online. So maybe we'll even do some BunchaJokahs content, and you'll see us rage at each other, such as the Mario Party way. But
I'm looking forward to it.
I am, and hopefully maybe if this does well, maybe this makes them make Mario Party 11, 12, whatever it is, with proper boards newly made, maybe, because we can
just
dream.
Give us all the options, maybe they do some of the old style, maybe bring in one level for the Mario Party 9 and 10 system, just do a bit of everything, then you can't go wrong. Although that would require effort, so maybe they wouldn't want to do that.
Oh, good point. Actually, don't need any effort here in our Mario Party.
Yeah, they don't like.
But
that.
As an evidence that some games can do some stuff new, but still keep what's good about the classic, we have WarioWare Get It Together, which features new mini games that you can play differently depending on which character you're using and which icon that creates, which looks so fun. I don't know.
Such a cool gimmick.
Yeah, it looks like a gimmick that actually seems enjoyable. I mean, we'll have to wait till we get to play it, but this is definitely one I've got my eye on. What about you, Kai?
Absolutely. I do like the old WarioWare games. I always think that they're kind of neat. So I'm just looking forward to seeing what this has to offer more than anything, just because I think having all the different characters complete levels in a different way is such a cool idea. Having co-op levels is something that I'm surprised they haven't done more of before now with the series, but I'm glad that they're doing it now. I wish it, I hope it has online for that, but I honestly doubt it. I think it will just be local. But either way, the game looks great. I just think overall it's going to be a really solid entry in the series.
Same, yeah. I'll admit a little bit of me is disappointed that they don't seem to be using the Joy-Con in weird ways like they did with the Wii Remote in Smooth Moves, because that was hilarious, and that maybe they will for an extra mode or something. And either way, this looks interesting. And if I want to play Smooth Moves,
people probably wouldn't be happy with motion controls.
You mean you don't like using the elephant move where you put your Wii Remote up to your nose? I mean, come on, that's a classic.
I personally have a great time with it. I just know there's a lot of backlash from that sort of thing.
Very true. Very true. But that looks fantastic. And speaking of things that look fantastic, Metroid Dread, finally the 5th series in 2D Metroid after a 19-year gap. Man, check out the reaction video if you haven't. But you can see I'm hyped. I'm really hyped for this. What's your experience of Metroid, Kai?
I've never played one before. I know roughly about the series. I've researched into it, to know more about the Metroidvania genre, but I don't really know much specific in terms of Metroid itself.
Fair enough. Basically, it's fun. It's it's your classic 2D exploring, shooting, backtrack into new areas to get new power-ups, and it's still really fun. Even Super Metroid, I would say that is the SNES game that holds up the best out of all of them. I enjoy A Link to the Past, I enjoy Mario World, but they still have their things where you're like, God, this sometimes feels a bit awkward playing this in the 2000s, 2020, jeez, time. Yeah. But Super Metroid holds up remarkably well. And then there's the Wii U has the versions, the Game Boy Advance games, Fusion, Zero Mission, which is a remake of 1, which I need to try out. Mm-hmm. And of course, this is coming off the back of Samus Returns on the 3DS, handled by the same team, which was an excellent remake that gave Samus the counter move to make you really feel badass. So, and that's the thing. What Dread seems to be doing is getting the good balance between the horror aspects or feeling Fusion had, where you're being chased by things and it's kind of terrifying and you're isolated, but mixing it with feeling like a badass hunter with how they're using the counter move again and all of Samus's crazy weaponry. So I've already pre-ordered it. It's coming out in October, and I just cannot wait. I would recommend it. So
It looks really clean, I've got to say. Like the gameplay,
yeah.
the movement, especially,
Mm.
just it looks really solid. So I think this would be a good entry, probably.
Yeah, visually, like the way the lighting on Samus's armor and the backgrounds and small details people have pointed out, like how when Samus runs into a wall, she actually stops it with her hand. It's a small thing, but they clearly have the attention to detail. So I'm glad that Mercury Steam, who again did Samus Returns, are getting the chance to keep Metroid going. And it's just crazy how Dread was something that was teased. It was a name and a concept way back in like Prime 2 or something like that. So the fact that it's not just coming out now, but it's actually using the same concept from that many years ago, it's pretty hype for Metroid fans. And whilst I can't claim to be the biggest one, I'm definitely looking forward to checking this one out. So bring on October. That was a nice surprise.
Let's go.
But it's another one which, you know what, we didn't really react too much to it. I cut out the highlights, but just for our friend Jose, I have to include it here. Shin Megami Tensei 5. It actually looks pretty good, I'm not gonna lie. I watching it, and I watched the trailer back just before this. It looks like they've modernised it enough, so it looks like a really good JRPG on the Switch. What were your impressions watching it?
I was kind of distracted by like all the reveals before it, to be honest, so I didn't pay much attention.
Yeah. That is exactly what happened.
God.
That's why it's not in the highlights, because we were just not talking about it.
Yeah.
But that's not to say it looks
on
bad.
The Switch, though. I think I'm glad it's there, but I'm not. I didn't really focus on it.
Yeah, this game was revealed back when the Switch, in like the January Switch Direct in 2017. So it's been a long time coming, and I think the last game SMT4 was on the 3DS. So I think there's a bit of a visual upgrade and a bit of a powerhouse change in there. So I'm definitely happy for SMT fans, and maybe it's on my list of things I want to check out, but probably won't because holy crap, so much was announced.
Yeah.
But still, I wanted to give that a shout out because we didn't last time. It does look good. And ending things off, of course, they had the massive Zelda section with Breath of the Wild 2. But we're not going to talk about that because we already talked about that for 40 minutes in its own video. So if you want to listen to that and hear our thoughts and theories on the trailer, go have a look at that on our channel. It's just posted last week. It shouldn't be hard to find.
Spoilers, I talk about the Zonai tribe a lot.
He does like his Zonai. There's your...
And we just spend a lot of time going, I don't really know.
That's it. We're just like, I don't know what's happening, but I like it. And that's 90% of that video. But still watch it anyway, because it's fun. So,
Yes.
But Kai, before we end things off on the direct and the news front, is there anything else you want to call out from the presentation?
Let me have a look. I've got my list up here with all the things on it.
Yeah, I will say quickly, Advance Wars looks good, Mario and Rabbids look good. I don't have much to say about them, but I'm happy for their fans.
Yeah, I think I'm basically the same there. They both look quite cool. Might try either of them out. I'm not sure yet. Let's see.
Danganronpa?
Worms Rumble. Worms Rumble was the thing that was announced at E3.
That was, yes.
It's another. They've given it a Fortnite branding. Basically, it doesn't look great. Super Monkey Ball. I should talk about real quick.
Oh yes.
It's gonna be like basically Super Monkey Ball used to have a lot of good games. They announced I think most of their games were within like a few years period from like the early 2000s, and then as they started making more games, some of them were just really bad. So I'm cool that they're bringing back just like all the old ones, putting them all on Switch as another bundle. I think that's really cool.
The Mario Party treatment.
Pretty much, yeah. I suppose apart from that, Mario Golf Super Rush I've been looking at a little bit.
Yeah.
I think it looks really, really clean. I like the opening a lot.
It's out now.
Yeah, yeah. I've been watching loads of it. Loads of hours worth of content from it. The Speed Golf looks sick. Battle Golf looks chaotic. Apart from that, it's just a standard golf game, but the features and like the Mario flair they put on it seems to have To me, it seems to have a bit more personality than some of the other sports games I've had in the last 10 years.
Yeah, and they seem
Like
to
Mario
start
Tennis
it off.
Aces was received quite well because of its personality, and this kind of goes a
Yeah,
little bit further with it.
yeah. I think like the Wii U and part of the 3DS era was kind of that sort of dry. Even if the gameplay was good, where it lacked that personality that
Yeah.
some of the Wii games had, like Strikers, of course. So hopefully that kind of thing's making the comeback. We can
We're
dream.
getting closer. We're not quite there for that
Yeah,
level of personality, but
baby
we're
steps.
going in that direction, which is nice.
But is there anything else you want to call out from the Direct, Guy, or E3 in general?
I suppose the Danganronpa series coming to Switch
Mm.
is again something I called like last year in one of our prediction
Yeah,
videos.
you did.
So that's pretty cool. To anyone who's interested in like mystery games or anything of that type, I definitely recommend checking it out. Just because I think I really like the concept of the series.
Mm.
And with that, they've added another thing onto it called Danganronpa S, which is new. And this series has been known to be quite deceptive with how it markets things. Like it will market stuff and then it'll actually be something else in secret to surprise
Yeah,
players. And
interesting.
some people are saying that might be like a new full game in the series when it's been advertised as just like a bonus mode. We'll see. I don't think it's true, but I've heard people speculate about that. So there could be a
Are you
hidden
go-
new game in that.
Are you going to pick the collection up, or have you already had
Um,
enough, seen
I'm
enough?
conflicted because it's one of those series where it's a visual novel series, so there's not that much
Yeah,
gameplay, and I already
yeah,
know like all the twists and plot points and everything, and I've gone through all the
fair.
stories, so there wouldn't be much point for me to play it personally. But if there were to be like anyone else who wanted to play it, then I would honestly buy it and have it on my console for them to play, just because then I could play like the bonus modes or whatever.
Not a
Maybe
bad
we'll
idea.
see.
Yeah, but overall, a strong showing. It was nice to have a lot of Nintendo and gaming news in general. My wallet's crying out, but the rest of me's happy. So,
Yeah.
looking forward to the next few months. But I think we'll move things on then to our next and final segment of the podcast. Saying next segment made more sense back when we used to have three, but times have changed. But we're on to games time, baby, which is where we talk about the games that we've been playing this past month. And I want to start things off with something that was actually shown off in the E3, but I saved it to here to talk about, and that was the Age of Calamity expansion, Pulse of the Ancients, which is the first pack. And, I didn't intend to get this initially at the moment. I thought I'd wait to the second pack. But then things sort of just worked out where, because I'm playing my PS5 downstairs where the 4K TV is, in the family living room, I don't always get the chance to use it. So I needed something to play in quick bursts on my Switch, and this sort of worked out perfectly. So I got it, and it's honestly, there's much more to it than I thought. I was expecting you just sort of boot it up and you get the new weapons and the new character, it gives it to you, and then there's some new challenges to fight. But no, there's just like, how it works is there's this new section to do with Robbie and Pura, which actually has some new voice acting from both of them, which is
Oh, that's
a
cool.
nice
I
touch.
didn't know that.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's not
that's
much.
nice.
It's not much, but it's nice.
Hmm.
And basically, you've almost got this kind of skill tree of things you fill out, where you have to, as normal, you have to trading items. Some of them you have to do certain quests for, certain extra challenges, and as you do it, you get loads of new boosts and buffs to the main game, as well as unlocking the new weapons and new characters. And it takes some time, but it's a fun way of doing it, and it's absolutely worth it because the Guardian Flail, for the start, is so ridiculously fun. In the Breath of the Wild discussion, I compared it to the hookshot a bit, and it kind of is because you can steal weapons from enemies and then start using those to fight. Essentially,
Nice.
you can sort of swing yourself along into the fray, and it's just rapid fire and it's crazy. And I want to see this in an actual Zelda game now. And then the Master Cycle, Master Cycle Zero. It's really good. It's fun.
Okay.
I mean, let's be real, it's not the most practical as the flails because it moves so fast. And
Yeah.
you're going to have a better time in hordes than you are fighting a boss fight. But it just feels really good. And you can actually use a charge move to like dash quickly across the map. And you've got Zelda riding it. which is a nice touch.
Yeah.
So it's just fun, and I've only played once as the Guardian, to be honest. I'm never really a fan for like the big characters, you know, sort of like I don't want to say just in case, but one of the unlockable characters in the game, you know who I mean, Kai. It's just so big that it's impractical. So.
Oh yeah. Oh God. Yeah.
So there's kind of similar vibes, but they were also the Guardian is still fun to play as, and there's a satisfaction to just sending a beam across the map that destroys all the enemies. But but my main stock is in the new weapons as the best part of it. The other stuff, like the new enemies, are kind of just obnoxious because they're damage sponges. I wish they have some new attacks, which is fun, but they just made them complete damage sponges. So doing the extra challenges takes goddamn forever, but it's still fun.
Okay.
So most of it's fine. When you get to the first final few, which I'm at now, it's starting to drag a bit, filling out the final few challenges.
Right.
But most of it's been really fun. And I definitely recommend picking it up more than I would have thought. Especially when the second part comes out, whatever that will be.
Mm-hmm. I think it'll be good. We don't know what it'll be, but it'll be good.
New levels, so that's something to look forward to. What have you been playing, Kai?
I have been playing I think just one game I can talk about this month, because it's one very big game. I went through and I've now 100%ed the base game of Xenoblade 2.
There we go.
Switch. I don't know if you've heard of it, Matt.
For the Nintendo Switch?
Yeah, for the Nintendo Switch. Oh. There's not a 2-hour demo or anything like that.
I think we made this joke last month with Torna, but you know what? We keep it going.
So yeah, basically after beating Torna, I went up and started Xenoblade 2's main game. And I got the Xenoblade 2 Pro controller to start off.
Nice.
I bought one and it feels great.
It does.
Yeah, I've been using that, and I just went through. I had like a plan for what blades I wanted on what characters. I tried getting the right blade save file at the beginning, for those who know what that is.
Oh, yeah.
I went through and had all that. Of course, I had the DLC. And yeah, I went through and completed everything I could in the game. I have excluding anything that's New Game Plus. I've completed every side quest, every blade quest. Of course, I have every blade. Every blade's affinity charts are filled in. The driver affinity charts are done. For the main weapon types every driver uses, all of the arts are maxed out. What else could I be missing? I can't remember off the top of my head, but basically I've taken action to try and 100% everything in the main game that I can.
That is dedication, particularly with some of the affinity charts. You know, we're talking like Ursula's. Damn, that must have taken some time.
I made sure I got Ursula early. That's one of the save file things, is I made sure to get her as soon as I could. So that was all done by like the end of chapter 5, I think.
Yeah, so, what was it like going back to it, playing it like all in?
It was kind of weird. Like, so the only other time I've played the game is on launch. And on launch, you know, I was trying to play it like it was Xenoblade 1, which didn't really work because they're not the same game in gameplay. There weren't really any guides that were great out at the time, or none that I really understood, and the tutorials in the game weren't good either.
Yeah.
So overall, of course I really enjoyed the story when I first played it, but the gameplay was really lacking just because I was trying to brute force everything and didn't understand any of it. But I've learned since then, and I really got to grips with it. And this time round, because I've already indulged myself in the story quite a lot before starting it up this time round, I'd kind of had my fix of it already, so to speak. So I was basically just playing for the gameplay. So that was like my big focus. And I really enjoyed it this time round. Just like, there's so many layers to it that keep you thinking the whole time. Like, you know, you really concentrate the entire time if you want to get everything done right. I really enjoyed, you know, fighting super bosses and just bosses in general, like unique monsters. Getting chain attacks and full bursts. Like, full bursts are always satisfying.
Oh, yeah.
And then going into post-game and getting some of the post-game blades, such as Fiora, was great because Fiora is overpowered. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
Best blade in the game.
I've heard.
Broken, really broken, screw edge. But yeah, it's been really fun, like seeing how the game lets you evolve your gameplay as you go through. You know, like the beginning's quite basic, but then you learn chain attacks and you get art cancelling and all that. And then as enemies start getting more health, you can start doing full bursts and everything, and it just feels great. Overall, the gameplay really does feel great when you understand it. So overall, yeah, it's just a great time, and I'm interested to see if they adapt or take this gameplay style and put it into a future Xenoblade game.
For sure, yeah. I mean, that's cool to hear. I think my first time I didn't struggle as much as you did my first time. I think partly because I wasn't so ingrained in Xenoblade 1, because Xenoblade 1's gameplay didn't click with me until Definitive Edition, really. And that time it really clicked with me after watching Chugga Conroy play through it. Of course, Chugga Conroy is a godsend for all Xenoblade fans. But so I'm looking forward to playing 2 now. Again, I've played it twice before, but playing it with the knowledge from Chugga Conroy stuff and understanding the gameplay a bit more. I'm not sure if I'll do everything like you did, all those affinity charts, but I want to do a lot at least. So I'm definitely looking forward to giving it another go and really getting into the gameplay side of things, because once it clicks with you, the game becomes not just an excellent story game, but an overall joy. That was me with Xenoblade 1 playing Definitive Edition, so it's cool to see you got that playing too now.
Yeah, I absolutely did. It was great, really good.
Speaking of things that are great,
I know.
Finally,
okay.
I'm now replacing Kai with Tom. Isn't that great? So, but I mean, I talked about last year in our game awards, which technically went on to this year. I said that the game I most wanted to play I missed out on was Final Fantasy VII Remake, and I finally have been able to play it. Technically I've not beaten it. I'm close to beating it, but it's bloody fantastic. It's so good. It's one of those things where you kind of like, am I bigging it up too much? No, I wasn't. It was as good as I was expecting it to be. It's just great. I mean, especially coming off the original and seeing how they've upgraded and expanded things. All the characters, given excellent voice acting and more personality and time to shine and interact with each other. The visuals that look insane and bringing the world of Midgard to life, because it's all set in Midgard. They've taken a small fraction of the beginning game and made it a whole thing.
Right.
It's just so fantastic. It is like the perfect way to do like a full-on, not just like a remaster or an upgrade, but a full-on remake.
Right.
And yeah, they've just done it so well. I'm not sure what else to say about it without rambling, but the gameplay is so... Because I'm always one who prefers a bit of action in my RPG if I have to pick. So you're talking along the lines of Xenoblade, which has a few elements of that. But Final Fantasy Remake goes all in with that, where you actually are physically dodging attacks, playing as the different characters, and they all have their different play styles, whether it's Barrett with his gun firing from a distance, or getting close in with Cloud and the Buster Sword. And of course you can pause at any moment and go into the menu and use special abilities or spells. And the way that you combo together the action and the RPG elements, it is buttery smooth. It's such a fluid gameplay system that immediately clicks. And yeah, Kai, you need to get on this. I know you've got it. No excuse.
Yeah, I have it thanks to the PS Plus stuff.
Yeah.
I just need to, physically download it and then play it, I suppose.
It's straight
which
away
will
from...
happen eventually. Like, I can tell you for sure it will happen because of how hype it is and how good it looks. So that
straight
will
away from the opening level, which is the bombing mission. That is like the perfect... It might be the best intro to any video game I've played. Like, it is the perfect way to build up hype, and the way the music plays. And you might have heard the song because there's a remix of it in Smash. But it just sets the mood perfectly. And to be fair, there are some... It's not all high energy. You get some sort of chapters which are a bit more generic, going through little industrial places and turning switches on and off. There's some bits where you're just doing side quests and you're going through familiar areas, hunting music. But even in those slower moments, just like things like the way the music and the atmosphere of the game sticks around. I don't care if I'm doing grindy stuff at any points, and it's still fun because they just nailed it. They nailed the personality and the character of, and I guess the soul of the original game, and translating it to something that feels not just modern but futuristic almost of how good it is. It's
right.
I'm just going to keep rambling if I don't stop myself. So I'm probably going to have to stop going any further. But it's just
Fair
fantastic, and I've not even beaten it yet. I'm doing the final set of side quests before the end, and then next month, which I'll have to talk about, is the DLC, the Yuffie expansion, which
Right.
I'm very much looking forward to trying that out. But yeah, just if you don't, even if you're not sure about this game, even if you're not sure JRPGs are your kind of thing or Final Fantasy is your kind of thing, try it. Just go for it because it's damn good.
Fair enough.
That's the end of my Matt talk. There, we're done here. But have you got any other games you were playing, Kai?
I think I'm going to leave it there for now. I'm going to be, now that I've finished Xenoblade 2, I'm going to go back to doing a lot of game design, so there's a couple other games I have been dabbling in and that sort of thing, but I'll save those for next month.
Sounds good, yeah. Well, we'll probably have some good stuff to talk about next month as well. It might be a little slower coming off E3, but there's always plenty. We always find something. So if you did enjoy this video,
there's always something there we can do.
Yeah, if you did enjoy this video, please stick around. Maybe give us a subscribe or something, because we make other content. We've had Let's Play videos in the past. We've had reaction videos to like the recent Smash news and the Direct and everything. And we'll have all sorts of extra discussions coming out along the next few months, as well as our main podcasts. And of course, you can find it all right here on YouTube or on Spotify and other podcasting sites if you prefer audio-only versions. Either way, we appreciate you sticking around, so thank you so much. And actually, I should mention, we are at 91 subscribers on YouTube. We're getting close to the big 100. So if you want to create alt accounts, I mean, if you know a friend who wants to subscribe, maybe give him a shout. But yeah, thank you. That's the end of the video now. So thank you so much for watching. Big thank you to you, Kai, for joining me once again, as always.
It's been good.
And where can people find you at?
They can find me at twitch.tv/Fascurreyn. Still playing through some Miitopia at the moment. Oh man, yeah. Well, again, I'll talk about that a bit more at a later date. But what a game! What a game!
The community's made some funny Miis, so you definitely come check that out if you haven't already.
It's very interactive, yeah.
Oh, it is. And of course, a big thanks to our graphic designer Sam, who does hard work on all the thumbnails and all the different channel graphics you see. So, as well as getting us half our subscribers, not gonna lie. So, thank you, Sam. And that is it for the video. So, thank you so much, and we will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.
Bye.